Have you ever been rejected? If not, maybe you haven't truly lived. No one escapes the pain of rejection. It can come from someone you love, a job you desperately want, or even from people you once considered close. And that feeling, it burns like hell. When faced with rejection, our first instinct is to cling, beg, and try to change the outcome. But ironically, the harder you hold on, the further you push yourself away. Why? Because desperation kills attraction. The moment you need something too much, you unconsciously signal that you have no value, that the thing you're chasing is more valuable than you are. If this is your first time visiting the channel, hit subscribe and like so you don't miss out on exciting upcoming content. Stoicism, accept what you cannot control. Stoicism teaches that if you cannot control something, don't let it control you. You can't force someone to love you, can't make a company hire you, and you certainly can't demand the world recognize your worth if you don't first recognize it yourself. What you can control is how you respond to rejection. You can let it break you, or you can use it as fuel to grow. The greatest people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who turn failure into a stepping stone to greatness. Rejection doesn't lower your value. It's just someone else's choice. Here's the truth. When someone rejects you, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It just means they have different preferences, priorities, or standards, things you can't change. And that's completely normal. You won't be a fit for everyone, and not everyone is worthy of you. But do you know what does lower your value? Your reaction to rejection. When you complain, when you try to prove yourself by pleading, when you let rejection turn you into someone pitiful, that's when you truly lose. Rejection is an opportunity, if you know how to use it. Look back at your past. How many times has rejection led you to something better? A closed door might just be a sign that you were heading in the wrong direction. Ask yourself, if this was really meant for me, why did it leave? And if it wasn't meant for me, why am I chasing it? Rejection is a test. It forces you to become stronger, wiser, and more self-reliant. When you learn to accept rejection with a calm smile instead of a broken spirit, you'll realize one thing. You never needed anyone's approval but your own. When you stop fearing rejection, you become unstoppable. Composure in the face of rejection creates attraction. Have you ever noticed a strange paradox? The people who care the least about being accepted are often the ones most recognized, while those desperately seeking approval are the ones most ignored. The reason is simple. People are drawn to confidence and repelled by neediness. When someone tells you no, the typical reaction is disappointment, anger, or an attempt to change their mind. But that is the biggest mistake you can make. Instead, accept rejection with complete calm. When you don't overreact, you send a powerful message. I don't need your validation to see my own worth. And that's when you start to become truly magnetic. What's hard to get is more valuable. Humans have a clear psychological tendency. We value what is difficult to attain. This applies to business, relationships, and every other area of life. When a product is marketed as a limited edition, we suddenly want it more. When someone is selective with their attention, we feel the urge to win them over. So why would you lower your own worth by begging for acceptance? When someone says no, instead of trying to change their answer, change your presence. Become something so valuable that they start questioning why they rejected you in the first place. Self-respect is your strongest weapon. Successful people aren't those who have never faced rejection. They're the ones who refuse to let rejection define them. Your self-worth should never depend on whether others accept or reject you. A truly valuable person understands, I don't need you to validate me to know I am worthy. When you maintain your self-respect, you change how others see you. You stop being the one chasing, and instead, you become the one with options. And when you have options, you have power. Remember this, not everyone deserves you. And sometimes rejection isn't a loss, it's an opportunity to find something better. Stop chasing, start attracting. Have you ever seen a cat chase a ball of yarn? The harder it tries to catch it, the further the yarn rolls away. But if the cat just sits still, plays with it a little, then ignores it, the yarn stays within reach. This is exactly how human psychology works. Being rejected doesn't mean you should try harder, prove yourself more, or throw yourself into a desperate pursuit. Instead, stop and ask yourself, do I really want to play by their rules, or should I change the game in a way that benefits me? Rather than chasing, focus on improving yourself. When you become a better version of yourself, physically, professionally, intellectually, and mentally, you won't have to run after anyone. They will naturally recognize your value. Emotional independence, the ultimate attraction factor. Attraction doesn't come from those who need love, but from those who know how to love themselves. When you rely too much on others for validation, you put yourself in a weak position. You become predictable, easy to control, and easy to discard. But when you are emotionally independent, when you know your happiness isn't tied to any one person or situation, you become more valuable. People are drawn to those who don't need them to feel complete. Confidence, self-mastery, and mental strength are what make people take notice. And when they realize you don't need them, that's when they start wanting you. Patience. The winner is never in a rush. In this game, impatience is a guaranteed loss. You don't need instant results. Those who rush are always the ones who lose power first. Let time do its work. Someone who once rejected you might see you differently over time, especially when you're no longer there to be taken for granted. When you stay silent, focus on your life, and level up without needing their validation, they'll start wondering, did I overlook something valuable? And by then, the game has changed. You're no longer the one chasing, you're the one deciding whether they're even worthy of you anymore. If this video made you think, hit like now, comment below. How have you applied Stoicism in your life? Stoic success, unbreakable mindset, total control. Distance doesn't diminish value, it increases it. Think about a piece of art. When you see it every day, it becomes familiar. So familiar that you stop noticing it. But if one day it disappears, you suddenly realize the space it once filled. The same applies to relationships. Constant presence can sometimes diminish your value. When you're always available, always texting, always trying to maintain connection, you unintentionally make yourself too easy to have. And things that are easily obtained are often taken for granted. Step back. Let distance speak for itself. When you're no longer desperately present, people finally have the chance to notice your absence. Not manipulation, but an investment in yourself. Creating distance doesn't mean playing the silent treatment game or deliberately ignoring someone to make them chase you. This isn't mind games, it's a strategy for self-elevation. When you invest time in yourself, focusing on your work, hobbies, and personal growth, you don't just attract people, you become more valuable. Distance in this case isn't about punishing anyone, it's about investing in yourself, and that makes you naturally magnetic. Silent actions speak louder than words. Instead of saying, I will change, be silent and change. Instead of promising to be better, let people see it through your actions. Silence carries more weight than any words ever could. When you disappear from someone's life without complaints, without visible pain, they start wondering, what's going on? Why aren't they trying to hold on? And that curiosity alone draws them back. But by the time they return, you may already be in a different place, a place where you no longer need them. And that is the ultimate victory. How you treat yourself is how the world will treat you. Imagine walking into a room with slouched shoulders, anxious eyes, and a shaky voice. How do you think people will react? They'll see you as weak, insecure, and unworthy of attention. But if you enter with an upright posture, a calm gaze, and a steady voice, you immediately command presence. This is the law of attraction in action. The world reflects the energy you project. If you don't respect yourself, don't expect anyone else to do it for you. If you constantly seek validation, you'll be met with indifference. But if you know your worth, others will be drawn to it. Validation comes from within, not from others. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need external validation to prove their worth. A partner who loves you, a company that hires you, a group of friends that accepts you. These things are great, but they don't define you. True self-worth doesn't come from outside approval. It comes from within. It comes from knowing your own value, regardless of whether others recognize it or not. When you stop craving validation from others, you unlock a rare form of magnetism, the attraction of someone who has nothing to prove. Mutual effort creates true respect. Strong relationships aren't built on one person constantly chasing while the other just takes. They thrive on balance. You respect me, I respect you. You invest in me, I invest in you. If someone doesn't reciprocate the energy you bring, don't try to compensate by doing more. That only lowers your worth in their eyes. Instead, redirect your energy toward those who are willing to treat you the way you deserve. Create natural attraction by eliminating the need for approval. Look at the most magnetic people. They're not the ones desperate to please everyone. They're the ones with standards, boundaries, and no need to beg for attention. When you stop chasing validation, you radiate power. You stop being the pursuer and become the one people want to pursue. And when that happens, the law of attraction will take care of the rest. You don't need anyone to feel complete. Here's a harsh truth. The more you depend on others for happiness, the more vulnerable you become. If you believe you need someone to feel whole, you're putting your fate in their hands. And when they leave, you fall apart. True inner strength comes from the ability to embrace solitude. When you can sit alone without feeling empty, you've reached a level of freedom that few ever attain. Remember this, you're not alone because no one is around. You're alone when you can't stand being with yourself. Control your emotions. Don't react impulsively. Rejection, abandonment, and disrespect, they all trigger an urge to react. You want to text, explain, demand fairness, but impulsive reactions are what destroy you. Stoicism teaches that while you can't control others, you can control how you respond. When someone walks away, don't chase. When someone disrespects you, don't try to change them. Your silence and composure carry more weight than any words ever could. Letting go doesn't mean indifference. It means letting go of false control. Many fear letting go because they equate it with failure. But in reality, letting go is a power move. It means you're confident enough to know you don't have to control everything. You don't need to cling to someone to prove your worth. The world doesn't revolve around you, and that's okay. Some people will come, some will go, but you remain. And when you accept this, you become untouchable. True freedom comes when you're no longer emotionally bound. Imagine a life where you're no longer concerned about who likes you, who stays, or who leaves. A life where you wake up every day focused on yourself, not on others' reactions. That's real freedom. And the irony? The moment you reach this point, you become more attractive than ever. Because nothing is more magnetic than someone who doesn't need anyone to feel whole. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this video helpful. It's the best way to support me in creating more valuable content. Your past doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. You've failed. You've been hurt. You've been rejected. But that doesn't mean you're doomed to remain a failure forever. The past is nothing more than a series of events. It has no power unless you give it control over your life. What happened to you matters far less than how you respond to it. You can dwell on what you've lost, or you can use it as fuel to reinvent yourself. There's only one right choice. Learn from it, then move forward. Create new experiences to replace old pain. The human brain operates on memory. If you keep living in the past, your decisions will always be shaped by old wounds. You'll fear love because of past betrayal, avoid challenges because of past failures, and resist change because of past pain. The only way to break this cycle is to create new experiences. If you've been rejected in love, meet new people. If you've failed in business, try again with a new strategy. If you've been underestimated, level up so much that they have no choice but to see you differently. Build a strong identity, rooted in self-worth. Forget the labels, the rejected one, the failure. You are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become. Ask yourself one important question. Who do I want to be? Then start acting like that person today. If you want to be confident, behave like a confident person. If you want to be successful, develop the discipline and persistence of successful people. Identity isn't something you're born with. It's built by the choices you make every day. You don't need a new opportunity, you need a new you. Most people think they need a new opportunity to change their lives. But the truth is, opportunities don't create people. People create opportunities. If you remain the same version of yourself, no matter how many chances you get, you'll waste them. But if you transform yourself, you'll naturally attract new opportunities that were never available to you before. And when that happens, your past will no longer be a burden. It will become the driving force behind your breakthrough. Attraction doesn't come from words, it comes from presence. Let me be blunt. Begging for attention is the fastest way to be ignored. If you have to convince someone to like you, you've already lost. Attraction isn't built on promises or desperate attempts to prove yourself. It comes from how you carry yourself in this world. Look at people who have real magnetism. They're not the ones trying to please everyone. They don't need to brag or beg for affection. They possess something irresistible, emotional independence. They know their worth and they act accordingly. Keep some mystery. Don't reveal everything at once. People are drawn to what they can't fully grasp. A great movie doesn't reveal everything in the first scene. A captivating book makes you turn the pages to uncover more. And an attractive person, they don't let others read them in one sitting. If you rush to share everything about yourself, you strip away one of your strongest assets, mystery. Give people a reason to be curious. Make them wonder, what else is there to discover? Silence and restraint are more powerful than pleading. Most people believe attraction requires constant texting, calling, and showing interest. The truth, the less you seek validation, the more valuable you become. Think about it. When someone doesn't immediately respond, don't you wonder about them more? When someone speaks less, their words carry more weight. And when someone can remain silent yet confident, they instantly become intriguing. Don't always be available. Don't be predictable. Leave space for curiosity to do its job. If someone truly cares, they'll find their way to you. You don't need to win anyone. Let them come to you. Attraction isn't about chasing someone until they finally say yes. Real attraction is becoming the strongest version of yourself. So strong that people can't ignore you. Stop wasting time on those who don't recognize your value. Focus on leveling up, building your own life, and cultivating a natural magnetism. When you no longer need to convince anyone to like you, that's when you become truly irresistible. Fear of loss kills attraction. Nothing destroys attraction faster than anxiety. When you fear losing someone, you start acting as if you've already lost them. You text too much, seek constant reassurance, show excessive concern, and in doing so, you make yourself appear weak in their eyes. Love is not about clinging. Love is a connection between two independent individuals, not one person desperately holding on to another for validation. If you're constantly worried that someone will leave you, you've already made yourself a less attractive option. Understand your emotional patterns. Everyone has emotional triggers, deep-seated vulnerabilities that shape how they react in relationships. Maybe you constantly seek reassurance because you were abandoned in the past. Maybe you over-sacrifice because you believe love means giving endlessly. If you don't recognize your own emotional patterns, you'll stay trapped in toxic cycles. You'll keep chasing love in ways that only bring you pain. The solution? Self-awareness. When you understand yourself, you can control your reactions instead of letting emotions control you. Maintain your identity. Don't lose yourself in the relationship. One of the biggest mistakes people make in love is losing themselves. They change their interests, give up their passions, and sacrifice personal time, all to please their partner. But here's the truth. You can't maintain attraction if you lose yourself. People fall in love with who you are. If you dissolve into the relationship and become a lifeless reflection of your partner, they'll lose interest. Keep your own life. Have passions, goals, and things that make you happy outside of them. A healthy relationship isn't about two people fusing into one. It's about two whole individuals walking side by side, not depending on each other to exist. When you're not afraid to lose someone, you become the most attractive. Real love isn't about possessing someone. It's about choosing them. every day. And when you understand that you don't need anyone to complete you, you set yourself free. And ironically, that freedom makes you more attractive than ever. True victory is when you no longer feel the need to chase anyone. Think back to a time when you were desperately obsessed with someone. When they texted, you felt joy. When they ignored you, you felt pain. Your entire world revolved around them as if they were the center of the universe. Now ask yourself, were they really worth that obsession? The answer is almost certainly no. And if you're still caught up over someone today, trust me, one day, you'll look back and laugh at how much power you once let them have over your mind. True victory isn't about winning someone back. It's not about making someone regret leaving you. It's about reaching a point where you simply don't care anymore. Looking back without pain or regret. Real growth doesn't come from trying to bury past wounds. It comes from facing them, learning from them, and moving forward. When you can reflect on past rejections, failed relationships, and mistakes without anger or regret, that's when you know you've truly matured. Turn your past into a lesson, not a prison. Use old pain to build resilience, not as an excuse to punish yourself. Self-awareness leads to better decisions. When you understand your worth, you stop falling into toxic relationships. You no longer confuse love with dependency. You stop trying to fix things that were never worth keeping in the first place. From now on, you'll be more selective. You won't settle for mediocrity. You won't waste your energy on people who don't deserve it. When you no longer need anyone to complete you, you've won. The world doesn't owe you a person to complete you. You don't need anyone to feel whole. When you fully understand this, you gain a power that few people ever achieve. Freedom. And when you're free, you don't just win in love, you win in life. Rejection isn't the end. It's a test of whether you're strong enough to rise above it. Weak people complain, seek pity, or cling to things that were never meant for them. But strong people use rejection as a launching pad for growth. When you stop chasing and start attracting, when you master your emotions instead of reacting impulsively, when you learn to let go instead of clinging in desperation, that's when you truly win. The world doesn't reward those who beg for attention. It rewards those who know their worth and act accordingly. When you no longer need validation to feel whole, you become an unstoppable force. So here's the final question for you. Will you keep blaming rejection, or will you use it to build the strongest version of yourself? The choice is yours. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.